traditional in the Western classical for the most part, but given a chance, I think I tend to lean towards a surrealistic direction. Even, I mean, I guess maybe it comes from being in the Bronx and focusing on the Bronx, which is, you know, when you pay enough attention to it, it is quite surreal. When I was young, I wasn't doing the kinds of things that many of my friends were interested in. Like, I wasn't into competition and sports and all of that. So an alternative, I guess I was more inward or withdrawn, and so I was always like messing with things, building things, and, you know, scribbling around. So that was something that came sort of naturally to me, and then, you know, as my later years, in my late teens, early 20s, I realized I really wanted to focus on something, and once I came to that decision, I knew it would be hard. Sometimes the scenes that are most familiar to you are the most loaded in a certain kind of way because they're charged with your memories and your experiences that inform a deeper connection with that world. So I do love to travel, and I do also do more subjective kinds of things in the studio. But the Bronx seems to be something that I come back to. Beauty of nature is the greatest inspiration. Light, the natural light of our sun, you know, so even though there's a great deal of the Bronx that's not aesthetically appealing, when the sun hits it a certain way or you get certain kinds of weather conditions or times of day, there's a beauty even within this you know, peculiar environment, and that's what I look for. Color, light. I'm just like a worshiper of the sun, and as I have continued working with paints, all these years I've become much more involved with the color, with the beauty of color and the power of color. And so that's a big inspiration, but also a great inspiration is the great tradition and history of great painting. And I do spend a fair amount of time looking at the great artists that I love and trying to understand their work. And I teach as well, so when I'm teaching, I'm also, you know, having an opportunity to focus on the art that I love the most. Having been almost a professional artist for almost 30 years, that you never know what anything leads to anything else. You put your best effort into your career and into your work and into your life, and then you know, sometimes it leads to, you know, better things. I mean, what's a better thing to me is that I could be more dependent on sales of my work that allows me to buy more time so I can make more work. That's my dream. You know, I do a lot of teaching, I do a lot of hustling, I'm always running around like a nutcase, and what gets left in the lurch sometimes is the painting, which is what it was all supposed to be about. I consider myself very fortunate, you know, because a lot of artists are in their studio somewhere, and there's a big, you know, then maybe they meet people when they have a finished exhibit up in a gallery somewhere where it's kind of like, you know, a sterile setting. But my life has been different. I have, you know, an alternative career where I've picked and found opportunities for myself that relate specifically to the kind of work that I do. So a couple of years ago I had an exhibit in Berlin called The Bronx to Berlin, Crossing to the Other Side, where I was invited to paint in Berlin for a month and then showed work here from the Bronx and from there. And you know, so I find myself connecting with people in the community, with people in the, you know, educational world. I teach as well. I you know, have worked with a lot of community organizations.